So I'll mostly be focusing on Weavile in this video, but I'm also going to go over some general Yvetal support stuff. So it's a single-use support, slow charging, comes out frame 19. The first hit of it does 60 damage and it's counter piercing, and then there's like 10 hits on the floor that have no scaling, and then the last hit which crumples. The first hit has 50% scaling and the last hit has 20%, so the whole thing is 70. And one thing about it is that you can jump out of it. Oh, he doesn't have support anymore. So you can block the first hit and then jump out. You can also block the first hit in counter. However, if you do a meaty setup, then you can no longer jump out of it. So you're a block and then try to jump. Doesn't work. So this kind of lets you do some chip setups. Normally it does 135 damage if you hit with it, and on chip it does 58. See, also the last hit has a debuff. The debuff prevents you from going into burst or doing a burst attack. See, the characters that can kind of have some counterplay against the meaty setups are Chandelure. Chandelure can do the backdash that has invulnerable frames. Gengar also has a ghost backdash, but it's not long enough for it to dodge the first hit. And then Chandelure also has minimize, and then minimize can be like cancelled into like smog and whatnot. So you would often have to like try to grab. See, Shadow Mewtwo has 2A, and just like both 2A and Chandelure's backdash have a small amount of the time that you can punish them, but you kind of have to be ready, and you might need to use a wall. See, and then Weavile has agility. You can just kind of go through it. Kind of depends on like spacing and timing too, though. But normally, don't assume that your setups will work on Weavile. Let's see, and then Blaziken has 8A, which has projectile immunity on frame 1 as well. But when you call Yvetal, you can just block and see if they 8A, and if they do, you can just punish them. So as long as you know that, you should never have to get hit by that. And then there's also some supports that they can use to just dodge it. So all the supports that give you invincibility, like Pachirisu, well, that's projectile immunity. Whimsicott doesn't work, but Ninetales, Umbreon, Fennekin, those all will be possible to just pull in response. And then some burst attacks as well can just be called in response. Mewtwo's and Gengars. So don't call them against first Gengar, the first one too. And then, see, the reason why it's very good over Weavile is just because Weavile's chip damage is very strong. So they kind of actually buffed it. So normally chip damage does like 1/4, but this one it does half instead, and it gives you pretty good results. You actually do it right. Against like Lucario, you'll see like 60, 70. Again, like all 60s here. But yeah, generally 60s you expect to see. 70 to 70 is also common. So what you can do actually, I guess I should just go straight into how you practice it. It's probably the best way to show this. So I pre-recorded this one thing just to save one cycle, really. I'm actually going to show you how to set up practice still. So this isn't actually the one that we'll be using. So this is like a common setup. You get like a 5Y combo into 6X and then you knock off. And then you can see them block. So if you look at the time, if you just make a practice input replay that is just them blocking, you can use that to figure out when exactly the last hit of Yvetal comes out. Like it should be like 8, yeah, you can see it here. And that's like at 8.2. So the time when you want to input something after shielding is about half a second before that. So let's go ahead and do that. So just let yourself get hit and then shield. And then we're gonna wait until like 7 point, oh, that was a little late though. I'll do a 7.5. There we go. The string speed is pretty good for practice because it's very obvious when you mess things up. Although there's a way to like verify that you did it right. So I guess I should show that first. I messed it up. So I'm going for a meaty grab, and if you do it right, you'll get the crit grab. And if you were too late, then you'll just grab their shield, and that's how you can know that they're countering as soon as possible. So when you go for your shit setup, if you messed it up, you will get countered. So there, I didn't mess it up. As for like the damage that I'm doing, you kind of have to like do some math to see it. So here, he has HP recovers during the long animation, and then he'll take the 58 shift damage. So if you look at the tens digit, it'll go down by 6, and then you can kind of tell how much damage you do by just looking at the 10 digit after your icicle crash. I should just miss my jump entirely there. Let's do it in the corner. So most of the time, you would want to just practice in the corner first. You might actually want to like limit yourself to not do it in the middle of the field, even though you can, just because it's difficult. You can just save it for the corner, and then there, because it ended on 472, that means I did 70 damage because it goes from 4 to 7, so that's like 14 minus 7. And then say you want to practice, say, another combo. So I'll do another common one, 5x1. And then I missed my forward dash there, but so with the forward dash, for these setups where they're low when you hit them, it actually isn't required. They'll get clipped by like the very last frames of the first hit, and that'll work fine. But if you hit them when they're high up, then it's they're gonna miss the first hit entirely if you don't do the forward dash. Here, it shouldn't matter. And I wasn't paying attention to the time because we're doing the figure out when the last hit of the other comes out kind of thing again. Is that it? No. That was it. So that was like 10.7. So we can do it at like 10. Let's see. Let's record that. This, and then just sit here until 10 seconds, and then stream speed. Alright, I think I just assumed that I did that right instead of showing the confirmation again. Okay, I did 70 damage again, and yeah, so total do 58. I did 58 plus 70 there, so that's like about 130. And then if you do 60 instead, you'll do about 120. Yeah, and so the ship setup, there's some characters that like the Icicle Crash nosedive doesn't really work too well on. And for those characters, there's like a couple other things you can do besides, you know, not using it for ship setups. Another ship setup, which is more of like a shield damage setup, is using 6x. So let's do this one. This is faster. So you just walk forward a little bit first, and then you do a charge 6x. And then the reason why you walk forward is not only to get closer, but also because if you do it too soon, you'll break the true block string. So you have to do it after the last hit. And then 6x is a true block string into Night Slash, knockoff, fake out. So you go for either like Night Slash or fake out. Only go for knockoff if you know it's going to break the shield. And I guess I should say, so Night Slash is -8. Icicle Crash Nosedive is also -8, but you're far enough away that you're out of grab range or mostly safe. With this one, you're not. But a trick you can kind of do is just to call bursts afterwards. And then let's see, I can show also. See, I also do this. So the shield damage that you get is pretty significant. So here you can call bursts, and then a common thing you actually see, kind of like he did here, is that they'll try jumping. If they jump and you want to just get the shield damage back, just do a shard say as zero key, and you can just, I think knockoff will just break this now, yeah. And after knockoff, 5Y will connect. Let's see, if they just block, though, I can show. Some shield breaks. So this one in particular, the good shield breaks, I'd say, are counterattack. And after counterattack, you can just do just like a raw 6x. You have like 6 PSP left generally. You know, 6x, 5Y first legs on the wall is a good follow-up. And then another one is 5YYY knockoff. So this. The funny thing about this is that, you know, often they'll try to jump. So this is like one of the times where you can hit your 5Y on shield and actually cover a jump. But it's also pretty common that they counterattack here. So you might just want to be patient too. Often being patient is just better. Like they'll have to a lot of the times they'll like panic and counter, and you can react to that. Especially if you're in bursts. If you're in bursts and they have a damage shield, often they'll, well, when they're in, like always when they have a damage shield, common options are to like try to counterattack and jump away, and then burst Weavile is just very good at punishing that. Although you do have to be careful, though. Another common option is to just try to grab you, because you can't do lights, and they're afraid of doing heavies, so like grab is kind of also a common option if you're in burst. So you might want to make sure you try to like make some space so you don't get grabbed when you're trying to be patient. And then another setup you can do is just try to leverage burst attack as a threat. So you just, just be in burst mode, and then you just call your Yvetal when they're in the corner, just raw, and then you go like, okay, I dare you to block or jump right now. Like, I dare you. And then when they don't, because they don't, they do not want to get hit by your burst attack, then you can just jump in there and do your ship setup. You can kind of confirm it and then go. Let's see. Yeah, and then this also works in field phase. Field phase actually has better ship damage usually. Let's see, I think for Lucario it's actually the same, but I might get like 70 or something. Yeah, so I'm getting 70 now more easily. Oh right, and then the timing. So we already went over like knockoff. You dash, you buffer dash, and you press Yvetal, and then that will work every single time. Also, in field phase, say, you get your icicles off. Do that, shift forward dash Yvetal, and you'll have your setup. So. Other things too, though, like you might get different kinds of shifts, so you don't have like the dash setup is gonna work for everything necessarily, because it's different knockdowns at different timings, but it's pretty generous here. So as soon as they blink like that, that is a time where you can call Yvetal and get the meaty setup. So as they're getting up, as they're blinking, all that will still work. They'll get a meaty setup. And then if you get like in air tech, generally you want to make sure that you don't corner yourself, and then you call it. So that was a little bit early. You call it, yeah, see that was too early actually. The first hit missed. Because you have to wait till after. There you go, like that. You wait for them to tech, and then kind of go back to their same height. And then it's kind of deceptive because they're still high up, but they when they reach the ground, they kind of act instantly like they don't have the get up animation that they have when they're knocked down. And then, as opposed to like getting actual setups in field phase, it's kind of dodgy to try to do a setup off of wall splat because of the air tech. They can air tech different directions, and it has different speeds, so it's fairly difficult to do it. Sometimes you can kind of just hope that they air tech like towards you and try for it that way, but that's generally not worth it unless like the timer is running out. But if you get like a grab and dual phase, you have enough time to walk them into a corner and then call Yvetal. Let's actually have him block. Reverse myself. So yeah, another thing to practice is not reversing yourself, because sometimes it's fine with the ship damage, but it's just bad in general. Like get -8 and corner yourself is pretty bad. There we go. And then yeah, I'll also quickly go over some combo stuff. For the most part, I'm not going to say too much about it, but if you get them, like a safe bet usually is just wait for the crumple and then go for Ice Punch. And that does 188. And because of the way the scaling works, you get kind of punished when you do 20 scaling because you get maxed out scaling after that. And then you get the last hit there. So this other one, so the Ice Punch one did 188. And you see that this one does 185, but it does shift, guaranteed. But yeah, in general, just try to get an Ice Punch. If you don't have enough PSP for the first hit of Ice Punch though, you can just like go for furry swipes. Like that's fine. Try to get a shift. Generally you don't care about like the damage too much, like you just want the wall splat. And then there is like a kind of cheesy thing you can do to just try to push them further. But this doesn't work on Charizard, Garchomp, Blastoise, Machamp. So the safe option is just do furry swipes. You could also do fake out 6Y. Actually, you can just always do this setup as long as you're not giving enough time. Like if you can act immediately, that setup will always work. Where you do the first 2 hits of furry swipes and then charge fake out. And then, well, the reason that actually combos is because of the crumple. And then you can hit two 6Ys after that, which is just good for carrying and stuff. But you might not have enough PSP for both of them. So I think that's mostly what I wanted to cover. Yeah. Possibly I'll make another video about more like combo things.